So I'm continuing the forethought series that Barry and David and I are doing. And the last one, Barry asked us about quirks of our family, or just a general question about little stories about our family. Though I have many stories I probably shouldn't tell, I'll probably go to the ones that are more of the friendly or happier stories that I got. One thing, like just a side note, one picture that I always remember is a picture of me and my sister. Um, we used to have chickens on the farm, and I remember that some of our times our job was to run and catch the chickens after their head was cut off. And we have a picture of us holding up a chicken because we were so happy we caught it, but it was headless, and that's a picture that we have in our family album at home. Um, Second of all, it's also a picture my mother had to show my wife when we got married and were dating. So yeah, that was my embarrassing child photo that was shown to my wife. Second story is when I was working with my friend Jim and we were making Misfit Heights. We went back to my family's farm, my parents' farm, and we were going to film the first couple days of Misfit Heights, which we needed a field in which the mad scientist raises the dead. And these were all puppets. It's a puppet zombie musical we made. And the first night we tried to film, we got a little help, and we had a hard time because we just didn't have that much help. And we filmed during the day, and then my mom asked me and said, "So how did last night go?" And I said, "Oh, it was okay. We just need some more hands for the puppets." And so when we went out that night again, my brother Bob lent us his welding truck, and so we could use his generator to put some lights out there. And we needed to dig a hole because we didn't have enough room for the puppeteer to sit, which was me, to sit on the ground and puppeteer the puppet. And so I dug a little hole, but I didn't want to dig too deep because it's my father's field, and it's like I didn't want to destroy part of the field or wreck it. And my brother Bob comes out and looks at it and says, "What are you doing?" And I thought he was going to yell at me. I thought he was like, yell at me for digging a hole in the backyard. And I'm like, well, I'm digging this hole so I could lay down into it and puppeteer. And he looks and says, that's not deep enough. Give me that shovel. And he grabs a shovel and he starts digging a hole, and he like dug it 3 times deeper than I did. And then my family came out. My brother Bill, my mom, my nephew, they came out, and they're all dressed for the weather, and they wanted to help, and they just laid down in the grass, which was of course was wet and muddy and cold, and they just helped us make the film. And that's it. It was a very deeply moving thing for me to see my family just jump on board and not even give a care about what it was I was doing. They just knew that it's what I wanted to do, and it was my passion, and they just jumped in to help. And like my friends jumped in when we went to Milwaukee to film there. Jim's family jumped in and helped extraordinary amount of time. His dad helped all the time. His sister helped to build the puppets and became one of the main actors. I mean, it's just incredible what our families did to help us get that film made. And I will never forget it, and I'll always appreciate it and appreciate my family for that. On another note, another story I want to tell. This is with my cousin, actually. This is when we were younger, and he called and said he had a couple movies that he got, and he wanted to know if I wanted to come over and watch them. And I wasn't sure, and then he says, "Well, I got the new Transformers movie. You got to come over and watch the new Transformers movie." So I said, "Okay, I'll watch the Transformers movie." And in my mind, back then as a kid, I thought if you said movie, it meant live action. Like it was going to be real people. So when we went, he put in the tape and we were going to watch Transformers, what I thought was Transformers. And these real live actors come on screen, and the movie starts, and I think there's even like a meteor that shoots across the sky and it lands somewhere, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. It's gonna be live action Transformers. And suddenly people start singing, and there's dancing, and I didn't know what was going on, and I kind of was paying attention, I was kind of not paying attention, and we got through part of the movie, and to the point where we're at this market, and this guy gets a plant, and it was Rick Moranis. I'm turning And I turned to my cousin. I'm like, when do the Transformers show up? He's Transformers. This is Little Shops of Horrors. Yeah, it was before Transformers. It's a good movie too. We should watch it. And so for like a long time, uh, through I don't know how long of that movie, I thought that was the Transformers film, and in which I really thought it was kind of weird that they started singing and dancing, and it was kind of an embarrassing moment for me, of course, who mistakes Little Shop of Horrors for Transformers, but I seriously thought it would suddenly have Transformers breaking out and fighting, and because they had music and singing, I thought maybe it was going to be a musical Transformers thing. I didn't know. You never know with movies back then. But those are my family stories. I leave it up to Dave to tell about his family, and I believe it's his chance to question us. So take care.